I'm Avery, and I was asked to do a video on how I'm using this app called Boxtastic for pell work. So this is an Android app. I think it's on iOS. The demo's free, costs $5 to unlock. So let me do a really quick demo, and then I'll describe what it is that I'm doing. As always, I recommend using whatever your attack and defense options are when you're doing your practicing. So try to use a shield, and if you can, use a sword with an edge. This isn't sharpened, but not a stick.
Slip back, 1, 2, 3 feet. Slip left, 1, 2, 2, slip left.
A little loud, I couldn't quite hear it. But you get the idea. So what it's doing is calling out...
Slip left, 1, 2, 5, 2, duck left.
It's calling out motions and attacks for boxing, and all I've done is map that to what I think is a pretty good schema for SCA combat. So where's the mapping? I'm calling onside head is 1, offside head is 2, onside body or midline is 3, 4, low is 5, and 6. So all the odd numbers are on the weapon side, all the even numbers are on your offhand side. You might do the mirror of this if you're left-handed. You also might have heard him say 7 or 8. 7 is any vertical shot or slot shot, moulinet. And 8 is a thrust, primarily to the face. There are also a couple movements that they call. Block left, right, duck left and right, slip left and right, and cover. So block left and right, the way I've mapped that in my head is using your secondary to block. Block left, block right. Now it's not necessarily a particular block, I'm exaggerating what those are. It might be a small block, it might be a low block. Whatever that block is, could be an active block, or could just be a roll. So that's left and right is with the left hand for block. For duck, you don't do a lot of ducking in medieval combat generally, or not as often as you do in boxing. So I've translated duck to mean defense with the primary hand. So duck left, duck right, duck left. Any defense could even just be here. So duck is with the primary, block is with the secondary, slip is just a step. You want to decide ahead of time if you're going to have fluid footwork when doing pell work. I tend to switch between left foot forward and right foot forward. So when I do a slip right, it might be a compass step, or it might just be a slide step to the left or the right. But whenever I hear slip, I'm making footwork to the left or right without a simultaneous attack or defense. And then cover, because I want to practice more thrusts personally. Cover, generally, when I hear it, I throw a thrust as if he said 8, and then withdraw. So let's take a quick look at that. What I'm going to do is demonstrate, I think there's 3 different boxing workouts worth looking at in this system. The first one is boxing workout 1. These are the settings I have it at presently. You can play with it, you can make it so it does more combos or fewer combos, longer rests, less complicated combos. Part of the reason why I've numbered things is the more complicated blows are the ones that get cut first if you simplify the settings. And I've also got this set to presently repeat each combination once. So if I'm not happy with the way I threw it once, then I have a second chance.
8, 3, 1B.
So 8, 3, 1B. Maybe I didn't want to take that step, so I have a chance to do it again. 8, maybe I don't recover as much. 3, 1B, right? So this is presently set to repeat all calls twice.
8, 6B, 3.
8, 6B, 3. So that's a good excuse to talk about B. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what does B mean? Well, B is the back of the target as far as I'm concerned. So in the boxing app, it means a body blow. In this, it means back. So if this is 1, 1B would be to the back of the target, usually with the false edge or short edge of the blade, right? So 1, front edge, 1B, back edge. Where that gets a little odd is on the offside. So the even numbers, I have decided that instead of always being a false edge shot, like if this is 2, this is 2B, it's a little awkward. A lot of times those land flat, and they get called a lot more frequently than you'd throw those as trick shots. So to me, 2B, for instance, might just be a deep or modified offside. So if this is 2, 2B. Could be the same edge, it's just on a deep step. Or it could be a modified version. If this is a 4 to the body, a 4B might be just a modified version of a shot that goes deep or around the target in a different way. It could be a thumb lead false edge shot, but it could just be a modified version of the same shot that's going to land deeper on my target, get around their weapons or shields. Likewise, 6B, if this is 6, 6B might just be a deep cut to the leg, right? It could be false edge or it might not be. So I throw that based on where I'm feeling in the flow of the fight. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, B just means deeper on the target. So usually a wrap on the weapon side. And then this also translates better for two-handed weapons as well. Just a deep or modified version is B. If we go to Boxing Workout 2, this one uses, instead of Boxing Workout 1, the odds of every strike are the same. I wrote the person who made the app. The odds of an 8 are exactly the same as a 3B, and they're just called out randomly. These are combinations that are used somewhat frequently in boxing, so this adds a little more complexity. I don't have it set to repeat, and it adds movements in, and it means that it's going to call out relatively common and frequent numbers for boxing that map to relatively common and frequent numbers for medieval combat as well.
Slip left, 1, 2, 3, left.
Sorry, I'm being quite mechanical at this point, but
Slip right, 1, 1, slip right. Slip right, 1, 2, 3, slip right.
right? Now, I would like if there was a little bit of movement in the middle of the combinations, but it adds a little bit of variety to it. And the last thing that I'll talk about is whether you should, I think they're both valid. There's two ways to approach these combinations when they're called out for you. One of them is to hear the whole combo and think about it. Like, okay, slip right, one is gonna be an offside, second one I'll do a teardrop, then I'll trail my left leg, and then it said 4B, I'm gonna have to step deep on that side and throw an offside. Okay, you plan it in your head, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and then you do it. And you try to do it before it calls out the next combo. The other way to do it is as soon as you hear one, fire one, and then it's telling you 2B because 2B just opened up. So now you're trying to get to 2B and it's yelling 7. So now you're trying to figure out how to get to a slot. Those are both valid. One trains reflexes and responding to what becomes open. Although you can't visually see it, you're hearing someone tell you what's open. I think they're both valid. The only thing I would call out is if you're doing the one where you're responding to the numbers and reacting in as close to real time as you can, when you get mixed up or it doesn't feel right, to me that's a good time to pause and think about it. What position did I end up in? And this happens to me all the time, where I'm responding to something I can't get to, right? Little tough with the volume, but you know, that also tends to go well with speed and power. So when you're trying to go quickly, that might be a good time. Pell work is often done slow, and you're trying to work perfect form. You may not even be touching the pell. Other times pell work is done really quickly and with power, so you can practice what it's like to throw a blow with power. And it changes the shot mechanics. Centripetal force will change blade angles when blades are moving really quickly. It's a good time to be practicing with speed and power when you're doing sort of responding to the numbers as they're called out, but it can make it a little difficult to hear sometimes. So anyway, I find this to be a fun way to break the monotony of pell work a little bit. I find the app to be worth $5 for me. I've compared with a bunch of other apps available on Android. This one's my favorite of them. It's not perfect for us, but it works pretty well. And it works pretty well for other weapon systems too, like pole arms and things like that. So anyway, if you have any feedback, comments, questions, or advice, I'd love to hear it. Just go ahead and let me know. And I'm more than happy to address them there or record another video. Thanks.